What's good? Back again. It's your girl Nell Nicole here. Happy Gemini Moon, everyone. Happy Gemini Moon. I need to calm down. Just by nature of talking about moon signs, Gemini Moon is known for giving us all an influx of extra energy and even nervousness. Gemini rules the nervous system. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of the fastest moving planet, the messenger god, the communication god. So, that's where it kind of links to the nervous system as far as sending signals and receiving signals and having that hyper awareness. Even as I'm about to record this podcast, I'm sitting in front of my computer just looking at it, clicking from tab to tab to tab to tab. And I thought, why don't I close my laptop to record? And, but I don't know, the quiet hum, the electricity going through it it's calming me, if that makes any sense. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I usually don't do podcasts. I've never done one of these before. I guess I'll call this an astrological podcast, which will probably end up being converted into a video and posted on YouTube anyway, if I can figure that technology out. My laptop actually has a virus right now, so if I can figure out how to do it on my phone, this will be posted to YouTube. So, welcome to our first new moon video without featuring me. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Here we go. So the moon actually went into Gemini this morning around 5:03 a.m. So first thing I kind of want to talk about is, okay, let's frame it. The time span that the new moon is going to be the most energized for you. When are you going to feel it the most? When is it going to be the most? When is the energy of the new moon going to be the most potent for you to utilize in spell work or intention setting, etc., etc. The magic number, oh my God, what is that? A fucking dragonfly outside of my window? It's May. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, it scared the shit out of me, but legit. Okay, the magic number is 3. Well, there's several magic numbers, but first magic number is 3. So moons, whether it's a new moon or a full moon, they're always the most potent the day before, the day of, and the day after the date, right? So we've kind of been moving on into this new moon in Gemini energy, even though okay, let's frame it out even further, right? Let's get the bigger picture for real. So every 2.5 days, the moon changes signs. So there's the number again, 3, essentially. So yeah, it's kind of like that, but the energy of it, as far as the potency, I don't know, it's loosely based. So you could say 3 days before and 3 days after. I like to think the day before, the day of, the day after, because at that point, you're as close to the median point as possible, if I'm honest with y'all. But that's just kind of what it is. And new moons are more about what you want to pull into your world, what you want to invoke and incite and manifest and create and formulate, right? Full moons, on the other hand, and we'll talk about that once this next full moon comes up, even though I feel kind of a little bit more connected to the new moon, I don't know, it's spiritually, even as a woman, my cycle is attuned to the new moon, so I just feel more strongly connected to it. But new moons are about calling things in. Full moons are about banishing things and repelling things and ending cycles, right? Cutting ties. Really, really good energy for that. Very helpful in that manner. But yeah, so in this situation that we're in, right? There's this new moon popping, and a lot of us feel affected by the moon cycles and just don't realize it because we don't keep track of them like a normal, I was gonna say middle-aged guy. I'm not middle-aged yet, but black millennial person in the world, or in, born in America, isn't waking up thinking about how can I align myself with the moon cycles. But if you notice, lots of people all over the world, it's not just our demographic, but like that's kind of who I expect to be listening. But if you look, the full moons really do cause people to wreak a little bit more havoc upon the land. New moons really are a good time to, like, whatever intentions you're setting around that time of the new moon every month, you'll notice those are the types of things that start to unfold for you. Because whether or not you want to admit it readily or in front of someone else or even to yourself in the mirror or at night when no one's listening, words are spells. Words mean things. You know, I was raised in a Christian-based faith. I grew up that way. Baptist, actually. And, you know, they always say you have to speak it with the tongue. You know, there's no faith without works. Like, you have to do something. You are an integral part of what happens to you. This world, like, people go around feeling like everything happens to them. Oh, woe is me, and want to take that victimized stance on everything, every single chance they get. But, like, the reality of the situation is, if you want to be able to find happiness and really live in a space of balance, you know, because things are always going to happen in life, but like, how quickly can you bounce back? How quickly can you reserve your space of peace? You know what I'm saying? That's where true wisdom and true gratitude and true, like, release from all the sorrow, that's where it comes from. It's a detachment. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's a reframing of your perspective. And all I'm trying to say is utilizing the moon phases is one of the ways that you can actually tap into creating your own reality. Because the overarching reality is our universe is comprised of energy. And so if you want to make something happen, if you want to change things, if you want to see what you want to see, you've got to get in line with that energy. There are laws that govern it much more strictly than, you know, our laws of, like, it's nothing like what you think when you and I think about when we think of laws and we think of, like, politics and, like, people and societal laws and stuff, like even morals, like human moral. It's nothing like that. These laws that I'm talking about, the laws of the universe, they are so unwavering, so uncompromising. You know, it's like this is where the premise of the base is, it is what it is comes from. That's like one of the basic laws. It is what it is. What is and will always be. You see, like, I can go more into that, but that's it. This video, or it's not even a video. What is this? Podcast is not supposed to be about that. So let's just keep going. New moon in Gemini. One of the ways that we can utilize this great grand energy that I am talking about, and you have to forgive me because I am a Gemini ascendant, I do tend to ramble, is if you are wanting to focus in on certain things that the Gemini energy is sort of going to highlight for you. I think that when we talk about moon cycles, not only is there a new moon and a full moon every single month, but the moons actually switch signs. So, like, the fact that I keep saying it's in Gemini means that if you utilize this energy towards more Gemini things, you will have more of a chance of seeing that result, because that energy is already being highlighted as we speak. Do you understand? So we're actually putting what the moon represents, which is our emotional self, our emotional undercurrent, the connection to the high priestess, the connection to the Hierophant, the connection to that inner knowing that we are great, we are greatness, we are co-creators. You see what I'm saying? We have energy and power that can be harnessed. We waste it so much on a daily basis, you know, just being a part of the world now. But, like, it's time to call some of that power back to ourselves, and it's time to set those intentions and really put our chi behind it, you know, and then give it to the universe and watch it unfold. So you can do this by, like, taking out a piece of paper, and I'm gonna name some things, and then, like, these are the things that you can pinpoint to help, like, write your intentions. And then we'll talk about, like, what you want to do with the paper after that. So there's a couple different ways that you can actually set your intentions free. But, okay, so things that are highlighted: motion and activity, mobility, actually utilizing your limbs, physical fitness, being able to get around, being able to travel short distances. So things like biking, the ability to walk, the ability to, utilize a vehicle to get to and from work, or take small trips, or go see your neighborhood people. Public transportation, commuting, things like that, right? Then learning, right? So school, yeah, absolutely. School, studies. If you're an actual teacher, that whole dynamic of wanting to be efficient and effective in your teaching styles, mentors and things like that. But mostly just like more early elementary learning and teaching, things like that. Memorizing things, mental, agility, playing mental games, playing word games, trivia, things like that. Communication skills are highlighted right now. So the ways in which we're choosing to communicate: are you using body language? Are you using words? Are you writing letters? Are you creating a blog? Are you writing a song for someone? Do you write a news story, or do you submit freelance works? Those things, setting intentions around those things would be very fruitful right now. Comedy, wit, and cleverness, just mental agility overall. Gemini rules over all of these things. So if you are the type of person who writes for, sketch comedy, or do you write for a show, or are you writing a play? Are you writing a book? Are you writing a how-to segment? All of these things. Social ease. So, writing intentions that sort of banish the ideas of social anxiety, banishes the ideas of, just really being depressed and not as open, and, like networking and really using your charm and your skills in order to kind of get where you want to get in life. Oh, shit, I just burnt myself. In life overall, those things. So you definitely want to set intentions towards being able to utilize your gift of gab to be able to get what you want, and to be able to, communicate with people and talk to people who are interested in some of the same things that you. Don't you hate when you use up a lighter? Oh my gosh, this is my favorite lighter too. But yeah, networking, friend circles, early childhood friendships. I already talked about mental anxieties. And your emotions tied to all of these things. So your emotions tied to how you go about learning. Your emotions that are tied to whether or not you're as agile as you once used to be, or as you would like to be. Emotions tied to like your sarcasm and your wit and cleverness, and how you come across to people, how you're choosing to communicate. Is it effective? Are people fucking with it? Are you too emotional in your speech? Are you not emotional enough in your speech? It's a time to really sit back and reflect on these things in specific. And the thing about writing intentions is it helps you call into your world that which you need more of. So don't get on there and start writing intentions and be like, I want to be less, like, say, social anxiety is a thing for you. I want to be less awkward. No, that is not an intention. Universe is laughing at you right now. Like, what? You want to be less awkward? That doesn't even make sense to the universe, because all the universe hears is less awkward. Well, all the universe hears is awkward. So you in relation to being awkward, but you, like, if you're trying to break free of that paradigm, you need to be not thinking about awkward at all. What is the opposite of awkward? Confident. So you need to write that intention and say, I am more confident, or I am confident. I embody confidence. There you go. That makes it exponentially better. The exponential opposite. You see what I'm saying? Then I want to be less anxious or less. That's fucking dumb. Say your thing is, you need better communication skills. You don't want to say, I want people to understand me, right? Because that's not communicating. That's just you letting off and people hearing you. But that doesn't mean they're going to comprehend. That doesn't mean they're going to take heed and actually understand, and you're going to make that connection in their heart. You see what I'm saying? To get the real result that you want. What you really want is understanding. So maybe I aim to have easier and clearer understanding between myself and those who I choose to communicate with. Like, that's the type of shit that you have to write. You have to write it in present tense even. So a couple other interesting things I want to talk about. And I am a Gemini ascendant, so I'm all over the place. I'm like exemplifying what this energy is to you right now in real time. And I always say that because, I don't know, it's just a part of me. But like, seriously, because the moon is in Gemini and the sun is here, that's how you know it's a new moon. Whenever the sun and moon meet up in a sign, that's how you know it's a new moon. If the sun and moon are opposite each other, that's how you know it's a full moon. So I'm trying not to move my receptacle too much. Sorry about that. But yeah, so some interesting things about this moon. So like I said, sun and moon are paired together in the sky over in Gemini and standing right across from Jupiter. Jupiter is opposite the sun and moon right now. So this could actually, and I have that placement natally, not the moon, but I have sun opposite Jupiter. So I'm getting ready to drag my damn self. But so like a tendency to sort of overpromise or want to be very grandiose in expectation. You are going to be feeling like, you know, your ideas are really, really just over the top, and really you're pulling from that Jupiter in Sagittarius. So it is the abundant one. You know, Jupiter already expands our vision, expands our abundance, expands our resources, opens us up to opportunity, opens us up for more. You see what I'm saying? Wherever Jupiter is, it multiplies. So it being in Sagittarius, which is the sign that Jupiter actually rules, just makes it kind of a double whammy of that extreme optimism, that extreme level of needing things to just work out one way or another, and having that will, and then like leading it all the way through is the tricky part. You see what I'm saying? Like, people that have these placements natally tend to have a little bit more of that blind optimism to where they can keep going even when shit gets grim, you know. But us normal people, that's what I'm saying. Right now, it just might be a time where everybody's feeling like, whoa, larger than life, especially in the area of communication, because you have to think the Jupiter in Sagittarius and everything is cool. It's going to open us up. It's going to widen our view. But then what we're actually responding to, right? So what we see ourselves as and what we're responding to as far as that Jupiter goes is, or responding with is what I mean to say. Responding with is this very communicative, very quick, very witty, very idealistic, you know, pondering over, you know, perpetually grinding the thought after the thought after the thought after the thought, like thinking about things to a pulp, like so much so to the point where you can't say anything to them. They can argue all sides of a thing. So yeah, like that idealistic nature of like, okay, whatever I'm thinking has merit. You know, I'm intelligent. I'm confident in that intelligence, and I'm not backing down. And I do have opinions, and I am vocal. This is all this Gemini, how we're seeing ourselves and how we're reacting, how we're becoming defensive with our words, with our ideas. And that Jupiter just sitting over there in opposition is like kind of hard sometimes to find the median within that. But like Jupiter is just such a nice planet. There's an over tendency to like take that opposition automatically as like just overindulging in the Jupiter, if you understand what I'm saying. Taking that sun and moon in Gemini and that intelligence and that keenness, that keen awareness at the moment, the way the ideas are flowing even through me. Like I have 5 notebook pages full of shit that I've just conjured up since last night. And actually a lot of the work that I got done for today, I started when the new moon actually was coming into effect. When I told you that day before, day of, day after thing, I started that shit around that time. And now it's just like, I don't know, the communication is just coming out of me. The ideas are just coming out of me. I'm starting new series. I'm publishing websites. I'm making phone calls. I'm doing things, doing the thing, right? Because Gemini likes to do it. It likes to that's why Gemini gets along with fire signs so well a lot of the time, because they like to call your bluff and for you to just do it. So with Jupiter over there egging Gemini on, it's like, oh, and it's like sitting at the poker table and having all the spades. I mean, shit, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't fucking play poker. Sitting at the spade table and having all the spades. You got 13 books, nigga. What's up? What's good? Like, you know, so the themes with that Jupiter, you know, from my interpretation will be over-promising, overbooking, having great opportunities open themselves up to you still, opening doors for the future, you know, having these ideas and writing them down. Don't just let them kind of get past you. Really sit down and take that mental... mental energy that you have right now and put it to good use by freezing it in time. Write it down so that later when you might not be on the same vibe, and you need something to do, you can go back and reference these things that were coming from this so like optimistic, almost overzealous placement. But even with the Jupiter being in Sagittarius, there may be a need to travel or sort of break away from the Gemini mind tricks, like the Gemini mental like frazzledness, the need to like watch some movies, entertain yourself, just escape in your mind and go kind of somewhere else that makes you feel inspired and makes you feel really good, I think that with this Jupiter in opposition to the new moon, we should take more cues than we give. I feel like whenever we have heavy Gemini placements, we always want to do the Gemini thing, which is talk, communicate. We want to connect. We want to see people. We want to talk to people. We want to talk big, talk small, talk business and talk bullshit. But I feel like we're going to learn a lot more than we speak and share what you know, but don't like share everything. Like, it's okay to leave something to the imagination. Nobody's asking you to write a whole how-to pamphlet, even though if somebody were to start a how-to pamphlet, I feel like right now would be a great time to do something like that, just with these placements. So what else do we have? We have Neptune square this new moon. So again, this is another reason why I feel like we might be thrown a little bit out of whack just when it comes to the ideas that we're harnessing with this new moon, like the intentions and shit like that. Like, make sure that they are solid. It's what you want to do. Like, now would be a great time to actually brainstorm all of your ideas and then like conjure up a plan as far as how it is that you want to go about doing shit like in a real way, because the Jupiter in Sag is gonna make us really optimistic. The Neptune being in Pisces, again, in its home sign, so not only is Neptune about being dreamy and fantasy and just like sometimes being, again, that word overzealous or being very rosy-eyed and like very wet behind the ears, very baby, very grandfather. But like, what do they say about kids? Like, you got to take care of them when they're young. They crawl on 4 legs and then they get on 2 when they're an adult, and then they go back on 3 when they're old enough to have to be cared for again at that infant, like, what is it, at that infant level? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the baby again, like how you want to see things, putting the ideal twist on your story or putting the ideal twist on your ideas, especially if it's coming like from some sort of argumentative sort of place. Like right now, I would not say start an argument with people, because even so with the Mars being in Cancer, like we could be very, very defensive over our personal property, our intellectual property. You see, our ideas, our thoughts, very Gemini things, our what's the word I'm looking for? Like inner dogmas, inner morality. You might be wrestling with it even within yourself, being that Moon and Sun are in Gemini. But even still, like, it's like, I can talk about my big sister, but you can't talk about her. I'll beat your ass. Like, you don't want nobody saying shit to you about you. And so some of your ideas might end up seeming hard to solidify or hard to pull together, or you might have that, there's different ways this can manifest. Like, you might be thinking of something that is very far reaching and fantasy, and like you very well could pull that shit in, especially with the Saturn and Pluto being in Capricorn right now. Like, you could very well pull that shit in. But at the same time, I feel as though other people, when, like, Pisces energy, the thing about it is when other energies encounter Pisces seems like the weak bitch all the time. Like, and it sucks because it's not always true, but sometimes it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Pisces can kind of be like the baby of the zodiac, like the super, super innocent part where it's like, that's just like, it doesn't matter how bad you are, like, you're not a bad person to me, head ass. Or like, if you're having some ideas, it's like, oh yeah, that's not realistic at all, but I'm definitely gonna put all my chips in this one basket and like make this thing a go, because I see the vision. Maybe you don't see the vision, but I see the vision. You see what I'm saying? And it's squaring this sun and moon. So it's like challenging your ideas, challenging your thoughts. It's not something that's going to be easily like able to integrate into the flow. You know? I hope that I'm describing this well enough for y'all. Yeah, like I said, Saturn and Pluto are both in Capricorn right now. So the themes of this like time period like this, because these are big planets. Fucking Jupiter takes a year to go through each sign. Saturn takes about 2.5 years, I think, to go through each sign. Pluto takes, I want to say, like 12 fucking years or some shit like that, 24, something like, I don't even know. It's so long. I don't think I've seen a Pluto transit really in real life happen, like since I've been privy to like studying astrology. Like I've been doing this since I was like 10 years old. It's a long ass time, but at the same time, like you learn something new every day, right? Like I don't know is what I'm trying to say. Pluto can't keep track of you, bruh. But these are big, huge fucking planets. So these energies are not going to be as effective as like on our psyche, on our bodies, on our minds as the quicker moving planets like the moon, Mars, fucking Venus, the sun, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are some other? Mercury is another one. Even fucking North Node, like certain shit like that, like it's kind of more, holds a little bit more weight than some of these heavier mooning, not weight, but you feel what I'm saying? Like they just hold a different place because all of this is just like one big fucking clock. So what I'm trying to say is right now, in this heyday, in this era, which you would refer to as nowadays, you see what I'm saying? Like, I can't say this month, I can't say this year, but like nowadays, these are the times in which we are being asked, I'm sorry, I have allergies and my window's open, rubbing my nose, but we are being asked to reestablish reality. Social media, this undercurrent of AI, this fucking intergalactic time span that we are entering into is some new shit. Some new shit. We're disassociating from each other at a heavier rate than like ever before because everybody's so sucked into our phones. And it's like, I'm not just wanting to be another one of these podcast bitches just up here like ranting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, think about the shit, you know? And so it's not to say that connecting with people isn't important. It's not to say that these advancements are not like revolutionary and absolutely necessary. I do think we go a little bit far with them, and I do think that we do still have to take everything else into account. Like what we do now will definitely be in the history books 100 years down the line. So with that in mind, like in your life, in your everyday waking life, make it a point to like just remind yourself about what the mission is. And if you're like of adult age, like you have a heavy one here. A lot of people that I think would be connected to me have that natal Saturn in Capricorn, natal Pluto in Scorpio. So these energies being here, like the power shift is happening. You see what I'm saying? Like it's time to create a clear path of intention for yourself, for your family, for your lineage. So yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry, I just got a text message that just threw me off. But yeah, I know better than to answer texts when I'm on the podcast, so sorry. So next, intentions. I think I'm actually, no, let me just go ahead and get it. I was gonna say I'm gonna come back for intentions, but no, I'm gonna talk about it now. So, all right, I find that writing intentions, you can do this many sorts of ways. Like some people will write the intention down. You always have to write it in present tense. I'm just going to go through this really quickly because it's really not rocket science. Write the intention in present tense as if you are already in full fulfillment, like in full alignment with the thing that you say you want. Most people like to write it on like a blank piece of paper with nothing else on it in order to just make sure that you are holding space for your intention to be the heaviest energy. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people fold them up. Some people put them under candles, burn the candle. You can research candle magic, go see what that's all about, see if that might be your jazz. If not, other people just straight up burn the intention. You focus on the flame, you burn it, you put your intention into when you're burning it, and after it is burned, you let it go. Same thing as with the candle magic. After it's done, you let it go. You do not keep worrying. You do not keep writing more and more and more intentions on the same thing. You have to give universe time to respond back to you. The third thing is some people just keep a journal. So they'll just write their intentions. They'll meditate on them. They'll put the journal away. The next new moon, they'll bring their journal back out. They'll write their intentions. They'll meditate on them, put the journal away. So let's talk about some really good examples of some shit that you can actually, like I said before, pinpoint within this time period, right? When it's, okay, so let's go back over what the time period is. It's time to reestablish a clear path of intention. We want to improve or secure our space, our home, our either our physical home or our mental stance, who we are, right? Things might seem a little bit cloudy for us, but we do still have that optimistic energy coming from that Jupiter that's kind of okay, we just want to make sure we're not leaning too far into it and we're not over promising or overdoing. So it's about being temperament, being mediating your energy expenditure and chilling at the same time, knowing when it's time to do and plan and move, right? And take action, and then knowing when it is time to sit back and plan, actually, is what I should have said. And just give your mind time to rest. Give your mind time to visualize. So yeah, let's see. The first one is centered around mental clarity, right? So having the space, having the mental clarity to know what to do when it's time to go into the world, right? So I want to easily find myself asking the right questions. Simple. I want to easily find myself asking the right questions. You could even go a step further and say, I easily find myself asking the right questions. Fucker, I want to. No, I easily find myself asking the right questions. You could ask questions surrounding transportation. If you want a car, I am riding around in my new car, safe and sound, minimal car payments monthly, and I couldn't be happier. You see what I'm saying? Say if you have a fear of speaking or writing something, you can set some intentions around that. I have written the best speech of my life. I have just written the best speech of my life. If you want to find out some factual information, you could be you want to find out if somebody's lying to you or not, and you don't want to play them games, just be I want clear logic to enter my relationship with so-and-so. Or I am so happy and grateful now that clear logic has entered my relationship with so-and-so. Yeah, so man, I wrote something else, but I can't even read what I wrote. But yeah, so that's pretty much the point. I don't want to make the video, this is not a video, bro. I don't want to make this recording too long. So I think I'm going to end it here. But as always, if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can obtain one of those at nellforhighvibe@gmail.com. Or actually, I just launched the fucking website. Go to Nell Nicole. Oh my God, I can't talk. Go to nellnicole.com at gmail. Wait, what, bitch? I just smoked. Go to nellnicole.com. Click on the menu. Click on book online if you want a reading. Okay, and down there you will see all of the types of readings. There's 2 columns. There's you click on astrology for that, tarot for the other. If not, if that's not your thing, you can always catch me on YouTube. I'm getting ready to record some June monthly videos for each zodiac sign, so stay tuned for that. I just started a moon sign series, actually, which I'm very excited about because I've been trying to do this series for a year. But yeah, I don't know. I was honestly just on other shit and procrastinating so hard. So I'm glad that I finally got my shit together, girl. And we're here. And so far I put up Aries moon, Taurus moon, Gemini moon. So I think I'm gonna keep doing them in 3s like that, just to make things a little simpler for me. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. I just want to extend my gratitude out to everyone because this gives me great joy. I love doing this. I hate that, like, sometimes you'll hear me pause during the podcast because I feel like somebody is creeping up on me, or like I have my window open and people be walking down the street and I'll be thinking they listening. But yeah, like I'll be like looking like, But I'm gonna get over myself eventually, girl. So just stick with me, boo. Thanks for listening to the High Vibe Frequency. This has been another episode, trying something new. So this is the Gemini New Moon, June 3rd, 2019. Share this with a friend, somebody that you think needs to hop on some of these things, some of these tips that could be useful for them. Let them know about me. Holla back. I will see you guys in the next one. All right. Deuce.